Alright y'all, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. Alright, so today we're doing a gear review and we are checking out the Agilite K19. Now this is actually their 3.0 version, and I'll kind of explain some of those updates compared to the previous K19. Now as far as impressions, so I've had this for about 2 months now, and I've pretty much just been using it on the range. I haven't used it for anything too crazy yet, but I have done a lot of drills in it. I've used it in a bunch of different positions with a bunch of different guns, and I gotta say it's a fantastic plate carrier. Now my primary setup is the K5, which I love this plate carrier. This is probably my favorite plate carrier that I've used. But the K19 is fantastic and has some things that the K5 does not, especially with this new 3.0 version. Now, big difference between this K19 and the previous edition is that it can accept placards. So this is the Agilite Pincer placard. And you can see here, you have these laser cut MOLLE that kind of go vertical. And that's so you can actually put the placards on. So you just got to get the G-hook, slip it underneath, and then just like that, you can start rocking your placard setups. You can see on the bottom, it's also got the Velcro section. All this MOLLE also has Velcro. So if you have like Velcro or whatever hook and loop placards, you can attach those and it gets a little bit more secure. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of placards. This one is actually one of my more favorite ones, not just because Agilite provided it for me. And by the way, they also did provide me with this K19, so just full transparency. But I do like how you can adjust the ride height. Now, Agilite accessories work really well with other systems, but they work pretty flawlessly with their own stuff. And I'll kind of go a little bit more in depth into that a little bit later. Now, these will actually come shipped with these quick detach points on, but if you want, you can switch it out with the included straps, kind of like I did. Now, it wasn't really an issue when I was actually shouldering. It wasn't hitting the plastic, and it wasn't even hitting the strap. That wasn't really so much of an issue, but just to remove that kind of thought, it wasn't really like an interference, but to remove that thought, to make it a little bit more streamlined on this side, I just switched it out, and it's awesome to actually have that capability. Now, this is actually a feature that was included with our Marine Corps plate carriers when I was in the Marines. We had something called like a yib-yab strap that you could do. So basically it would look like this, but what you had standard was, it wasn't really like the tube setup here. It was kind of just a normal clip, and that definitely got in the way. These are a lot better, but those clips got in the way. So having the included straps to switch it out was pretty nice, and it's awesome that Agilite is doing the same thing. But yeah, just having that sort of modularity is really nice. Now, I gotta say, I got pretty comfortable using specific plate carrier setups, especially what I had in the Marine Corps, but I will say I can definitely still appreciate when companies will go out of their way to try and modernize some of their kit. And that's definitely something that I like with Agilite. Now, if you guys haven't seen my K5 review, the sort of shape and setup is very similar between the K19 and the K5. So some of the things that I really like with this particular plate carrier setup is, one, the shape of the actual strap. So you can see they have this like this V shape. I mean, you can even see with the kind of support straps here, but it has this V shape. So when you're actually wearing it, it's not just like this and really chafing your neck and making you super miserable, especially when you have like a pack on or whatnot. Things, or a sling, things just get shifted around, and then you're just constantly just grating your neck with the strap. So with this actual shape, it sits really nice. It actually sits on my shoulders, and it's not destroying my neck or anything. So, and it's also not destroying my lower back because, again, it just sits really nice on my body. It's very, very ergonomic. Now, something else I really love is the ability to adjust it quickly. So you can kind of see here, you just have some Velcro. So if you need to adjust the ride height, if it's a little bit too low, or if the back is too low, or what have you, all you have to do is adjust it right there. And I haven't had any issues with this like coming undone. I mean, Velcro hook and loop is pretty solid, especially when it comes to like the sort of up and down hold, if that makes any sense. So that is a really awesome ability to adjust it quickly. So whenever you do get the plate carrier, you can adjust it. It takes a couple minutes. And if for whatever reason, maybe you put like a backpack on, or you just have some weight sitting in a different area and it's kind of, throwing the balance off a bit, you can adjust it very, very easily. which is awesome. Now the padding on the shoulder straps is amazing as well. You could wear this thing for hours and you're not going to get like too destroyed. With the Marine Corps plate carriers, especially the Army IOTV, when you're wearing that thing for a few hours, even if you're used to it, you'll just get like the worst knots in your traps, and it gets very, very painful. It feels like it's literally just tearing your trap up. But with these, you can wear it for a much longer period of time and you're not going to be feeling it as much. You can see it's also got this sort of mesh material, which is really nice because when you're wearing it, again, for prolonged periods, it's not going to, make it super unbreathable, and you're not going to be like super miserable because this is going to get super sweaty and chafed. Even if you have like a combat shirt, this is very, very comfortable, and again, better than stuff that I've used in the military. That's going to be a common theme of this review. Now, we'll caveat that that's not saying much because military grade isn't necessarily going to be that good. Now in the back, you do have this carry handle. So, for whatever reason, somebody does need to move you if you get injured or what have you, you do have that possibility, and you can secure it with the hook and loop or the Velcro, which is really nice. Now you also have this admin pouch, which I gotta say, the zippers are just fantastic. Like, you could easily actuate, I guess that's a very military term, but you can easily open this zipper with one hand without it getting snagged, which is, again, just kind of like a nice bonus. Now this is pretty freaking big. Like, you can see, I have some pretty massive hands, and I can put my entire hand in this pouch here, which is awesome. And it's definitely something that I liked with the Marine Corps plate carrier, because we have like the kangaroo pouch, so you could open it up, put your maps and stuff in there, which is nice. So you can kind of do the same with this one. So that is very much appreciated to have some of those built-in compartments as well. Now the cummerbund is nice. Now you can kind of see here, I mangled it a little bit. So what it'll originally come like is it'll be a little bit longer, and it'll have sort of these fixtures. You'll see this a lot with like packs and whatnot. If the companies actually care to allow you to secure your gear properly, you'll have these awesome little things. So basically, if you adjust your cummerbund, you can just roll it up and then secure it with the Velcro. Now with me, I guess it's like my grunt brain, where I'm just trying to streamline everything as much as possible. Now I've adjusted this, and I gave myself a little bit of wiggle room. I'm not expecting, if I do have some warming layers, it's going to make it a little bit tighter. So I will want to loosen it up a little bit. So I did give myself a little bit of wiggle room there. You can see I kind of secured it with some Ranger bands, but I have a few more inches if I do need to let it loose. I felt like that was a little bit too much, to be honest, especially having it on the side. Again, it wasn't really an issue, but maybe if you're resting your arms to your side, you might start feeling that a little bit. Or if you have like certain things, your weapon is slung on your side, if you're controlling an occupant or something, you don't want things pushing those straps into your side. It's just going to get a little bit annoying. But that's pretty much my only gripe with the actual cummerbund. I do sort of like this sort of skeletonized setup, because when you have like a flat panel of material, it gets very hot, and it can't really move with your body as well, especially if you have like, lats or any sort of like, if you have any curves, basically, it'll be able to move with your body a little bit better than just having that flat sort of panel there. Now, here in the back, you can kind of see when I pull it, but it's got a little bit of elasticity, and in their videos, they're saying, when you take a knee, it's a little bit more comfortable. And I never really thought about that until I remember actually taking a knee in my other plate carriers, because obviously when you get down, your sort of diaphragm area compresses a little bit and comes out, and what you don't want is your plate carrier kind of just turning it into a girdle and making it really difficult to kind of breathe or get into any comfortable positions, especially when you're taking a knee and you're trying to move around cover or anything like that. This really allows that sort of extra little level of maneuverability and comfort. Of course, comfort is very nice. It's kind of a hard thing to come by, especially in occupations where this might be necessary. Now, I will also add that I didn't know what to think about the whole tube setup as far as like the quick detach capability. Now, with military plate carriers, with the Marine Corps, we had like a little strap down here that you could pull. It was pretty hard to pull, understandably, but you could pull it and your plate carrier would fall apart. So like in the Marine Corps, if you went into water, or if you needed to take your armor off quickly to get yourself to the surface, you could utilize that and it was a little bit easier. You know, you can use that for a bunch of different situations. So having that sort of capability to break down your plate carrier quickly is definitely nice. Now the Army's IOTV was pretty similar. It had like a square cloth that you could lift and pull here. But these are nice. They're very, very easy to find, and they're very quick and they're very easy. But they're also very secure, which is nice. And with the other setups like the Marine Corps plate carrier and the Army IOTV, if you pulled those cords, putting that thing back together is a huge pain in the butt. So with this, all you have to do is find it, pull it, and then you can just shred it like that. Very quick, very simple. And with the sides, just grab them, pull down and out, and then you're good. And then you can just take it off. Now this is nice for emergency situations, but it's also just nice for, I mean, if you're an infantryman or a grunt, or even like someone who wears a plate carrier a lot, you understand that it's nice to be able to get this thing off easily, or even just create that sort of ventilation a little bit better. Because yeah, if you're wearing it for a while, it's gonna get very uncomfortable. So it's nice just to be able to, like, you know, drop it and kind of get some airflow going, or just take it off easily. It's not necessarily an emergency kind of thing. It's just more of a convenience. And again, it's very easy to put it back. All you have to do is line that up, snap it back in, do that for the other side. So there you go. Just like that, you can pretty much reassemble your plate carrier, which is, again, it's a very awesome feature. Now I will say it's something I didn't think I needed. I mean, just because like military plate carrier setups are whatever. This was a much better improvement. It didn't necessarily have that quick sort of take apart capability, but I didn't really think I needed it. But having the capability to do it now, it's kind of hard to go back to something like this. I mean, this is definitely still gonna be my primary setup because it's an awesome plate carrier and, you know, I've used it a bunch. But again, having things like this, just those small kind of creature comforts, is really nice and really appreciated for somebody who has to wear this thing, or somebody who just wants to wear it a lot. Now, both of these plate carriers have a fantastic shoulder strap system, which I'll kind of explain a little bit. Now you can see here, this is the Agilite AMAP 3, so it's a bag I just chuck on the plate carrier. Works really well with their plate carriers, I will say that. Now, it's also got these straps, which are really nice because it takes a lot of the load off of your back from just having a backpack and puts it, again, back on their shoulders, which is really nice. I know you might think, you know, having all that weight on your shoulders might be kind of bad, but having that weight on your lower back is brutal and you're not going to last very long. With the shoulders, you have much more natural center of gravity, and again, it's much better for sort of prolonged operations. Now again, aside from making those adjustments just a little bit more comfortable, it is nice because with this, you can, again, run sort of wires, comms, antennas, or even like hydration system. You can run your hydration tube through this and it stays in place, as opposed to, I mean, you'll see a lot of dudes, mainly like basic trainees or people who are kind of like a little bit more unfamiliar with their gear. The tube will kind of just be flopping all around and it looks kind of annoying and it definitely gets in the way. So having the ability to secure it like this in a very natural way and a very comfortable way is pretty awesome. Now you can see here, the pack actually feeds onto this strap as well. Again, to put that sort of pressure and that weight on your shoulders as opposed to putting it on your back, especially your lower back, which is awesome. And it's also more appreciated than just mollying the backpack to your plate carrier, because you can just use a quick detach clip and then undo this and you can take the bag off and do whatever, pass it off to a teammate or what have you. So very, very convenient, and that is why I love these sort of shoulder strap setups. But again, you have that on both plate carriers and big fan of it. I gotta say, I'm a very big fan of it. I haven't seen a plate carrier setup that was this nice and this convenient. So again, going to a plate carrier like this, it's kind of hard to go to anything else. Now, in my time being in the Marine Corps and the Army infantry, and also just kind of being an airsofter or a LARPer in general as an adult, I've used a bunch of different plate carrier setups, and there's a lot of things I like about certain plate carriers and some things I don't like. And this by far has way more pros than it does cons compared to other plate carrier setups. Now right now I have these Team Wendy training plates in, but I will say this plate carrier accommodates a bunch of different plate sizes and shapes. Now you can see on the inside here, you have these two straps, and these straps do a really good job at One, making sure the plate doesn't move around a lot, but at the same time, it puts a lot of the weight higher up because the straps are connected here, and it'll basically suspend the plate so the plate isn't just resting on the bottom and dragging all that weight down. So all you have to do is get your plate and then chuck it in, and then what these straps will do is go around the plates, feed through these buckles here, and then connect back in on themselves. So if you do that with both, again, now the plate is resting on the strap as opposed to resting on the bottom of the plate carrier. Obviously, you do that a little bit neater, but you guys can kind of get the idea. Now you can see the plate is being held by these straps, and then you kind of just secure it like that, and it is just, it's awesome. You can really feel how it's not just pulling all the weight onto your lower back. And you'll definitely appreciate that after a long day when you have to wear this thing for many, many hours. Now again, I talked about how you can switch the strap out so it's a little bit more comfortable for shouldering a weapon. I will say it's pretty good. Like presenting a weapon, it really depends on how you present it. With me, again, I kind of punch out and then put it in. That sounded weird. But I'll kind of punch out and then place the weapon in the pit of my shoulder, as opposed to kind of like pivoting on here. I mean, it seems like that works pretty well, but with me doing it like this, I haven't noticed any issue with being able to get a good cheek well and actually side in. It feels pretty natural. And again, once you use different setups, you might think like, hey, right now I'm not so sure. It feels like it's getting in the way a little bit. Just make sure you're training with it, because then you'll kind of work around it. But with this one, I haven't really had to do that. Again, I have been using the K5, so I'm pretty comfortable with this sort of shape. But yeah, it's not something that I noticed with the K5 originally either. But you can see, yeah, it's pretty comfortable. When I'm shooting, it's not like slipping off. Again, I did replace that buckle. It wasn't really getting in the way, but I can be sure that it's going to be comfortable and sort of stay where I want it to. It does also help if you do shoulders day, because you can really sort of lock that thing in place. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with that. So yeah, it's pretty comfortable, works pretty well. So overall, you can definitely tell that this plate carrier was made for professionals, and definitely by professionals who know what this kind of setup, especially this particular item. The plate carrier is arguably one of the most, if not the most important piece of gear that needs to be comfortable, but also needs to be modular to accept a bunch of different accessories. And I gotta say, Agilite does a very good job at it. And again, it just looks cool. It looks streamlined, and it accepts what you need it to accept, which is very, very nice. There's a lot of different plate carrier setups that I've used that are comfortable and work for particular applications, but this is probably the best sort of all-around setup that I've been able to use. Now, I will say the military is doing a better job at getting gear that's a little bit more modular and comfortable, but compared to what I've used, starting with the interceptor vest, going to the plate carrier, going to a couple of generations of the Army's IOTV, this thing is just so much better and a lot cheaper too. I mean, you have those military plate carriers that go upwards to like $1,000. This thing is under $300, and it's fantastic. And it'll take a beating without making your body take a beating, if that makes any sense. So the K5, K19 are definitely plate carriers that I swear by, and it's plate carriers that I've recommended to people who are actually still in. If they can actually use their own personal setup, this is something that I recommend to them, because it works really well for military applications, and it's not going to hurt your wallet too much, and it's going to last, and it's going to provide you with everything that you will need. So yeah, I can't really say a whole lot more about it. It's great, and I've worn the K5 a lot. I've worn that for a couple of years now, maybe like 3 years, and it's awesome. And the K19, again, just adds on to that. So if you guys are thinking about getting a plate carrier, definitely recommend Agilite. But yeah, enough talking about Agilite and how much I like their stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys were kind of on the fence, hopefully it tipped you one way. Hopefully in favor of actually getting it. But yeah, definitely swear by this setup. I think you guys will absolutely enjoy it if you guys do get it. But thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. I do like doing these gear reviews, and I will try and throw in some clips of me wearing this thing. I didn't necessarily prepare the best clips for this particular video, but I'll have a couple snappy clips in there, I think. But thank you guys for watching. Again, let me know what you think. If you guys aren't subscribed, definitely consider subscribing. Gear reviews aren't the biggest thing I do on my channel, but it is something that I'm passionate about and something that I just like to do because gear is just fun and it's cool. And when companies do it right, it's definitely a breath of fresh air. But thank you all for watching. That is it for this video. I'll see you all in the next one.